I love this show so much, but why are these seasons so short? Season 3 of She-Ra. I really love this show. My gosh. Okay. Yeah. If you like this show, I can't imagine that you wouldn't enjoy this season. It's good stuff. It was exactly what I wanted it to be, broadly speaking, coming off of the second season. Because I mentioned in my review of season 2 that season was much more self-contained episodes. It didn't quite have the serialized feel of the first season had for the most part. And I didn't have a problem with that in season 2, but I did say at the time that I didn't want that to become the new norm. I wanted to see because those individual episodes gave us closer looks at some of the characters, which I appreciated, but I wanted to see a return to a more overall, the story overall is going somewhere sort of feel to it. And that's exactly what the season is. This is a very serialized season. This is basically a single story told in 6 episodes. So it's a continuous story broken into parts rather than a bunch of little individual stories like the previous season one. I can see where some people might find it jarring that the show seems to be going back and forth in terms of how it does it. But for me, this is what I wanted. I got to know individual characters and settings and relationships a bit better last time because of the episodic nature. But this time, I wanted the story to just thunder forward, and it does. And we do still get some really good character beats and some interesting insights along the way as well. I will try to avoid spoilers. No, scratch that. I will not avoid spoilers. I liked it a lot. It's only 6 episodes. They're 20 some odd minutes a piece. It's 2.5 hours. Go watch it, then come back. Crying out loud. Okay, so, boy, now that I open it up to talk spoilers, I feel lost. Where do I start? Well, okay. So, Catra. Let's start with Catra. They pushed her hard. They pushed her to the edge. And if it hadn't been so carefully balanced in terms of justifying and explaining why she felt that this was what she wanted to do, then it could have been very hollow. It could have been very, well, you need someone to make the stupid overarch evil decisions. I guess they decided it's going to be her. It could have been that, but it's not, because the show does a really good job, and both the visual, physical performance. I say physical, it's drawn, but the physicality of the character and the vocal performance do a lot to sell and make me buy that she is the kind of person that has poured all of her failings, all of her fears, all of her hate at external forces. And she has poured that so heavily into them and is so determined to hate these people. Partly Shadow Weaver, but mostly Adora. And she is committed to that so fully. I buy that it's not about Catra winning. All she wants to do is make sure that Adora doesn't win. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that Adora is even up against Catra. So this isn't even a direct competition. Adora's trying to do stuff that doesn't even have to involve Catra, but Catra does not want her to win at whatever it is. That is the level of hate that she has for her. And they sell that because they built it over 3 seasons for her to be at this level of hatred for her. That I buy it. That she would let the world fall apart if Adora's goal was to stop that happening. She would ensure that it did, just so she could say that Adora lost. Not even that she beat her, but just that Adora didn't get something she wanted. And they do a really good job of making her feel very legit to somebody with a lot of damage and a lot of unhealthy, abusive relationships. in their past. That element kind of hit me when she's looking at Shadow Weaver, paired with Adora and with Glimmer and Bo. And, obviously we can't trust Shadow Weaver. We know that. But it's a desperate situation. But Catra sees that and says, I am the mess that I am because you knowingly ruined me. And now you get to be the good guy? Oh, no. No. And that sense of injustice of why does everyone get to be okay but me? Like that's This thing went heavy on I was gonna say on the feels, but that like implies like all tears and there's some touching moments, but like this thing went hard on the emotions it went with, and I think it got some really good stuff out of it. The season overall really picks up steam as it goes. There's a lot of momentum in this season. The front end it's good, it's solid. Huntera was okay. I don't know. There was something about the look and Gina Davis's vocal performance, neither of which are bad, but there was like something throwing me off a little bit on both fronts, and I can't really quantify it. It was fine though. It by no means wrecked anything, so that was fine. Tongue Lashore. I love that I had that toy. So I knew that guy. That's a deep cut, and I loved it. Scorpia's still adorable and still amazing and awesome. And God, I love her so much. I want to cosplay as Scorpia so freaking bad. And to see, here's something I wouldn't have called. They, who knows how far they commit to this, but they definitely set up this very cute, if you are a shipping type, shippable relationship between Hordak and Entrapta. I wouldn't have called that one, but I kind of love it. And actually, I was surprised they humanized Hordak a bit, and it worked. It didn't annoy me, and I didn't feel that it undercut him as a villain. They did two things that normally I would say don't do that. You're undercutting your villain. One, they established that there's somebody much worse than him out there, Horde Prime, and that is a holdover from the show, so I knew that was a possibility. And then two, you humanize him a bit and get us to sympathize with him, and that usually takes some of the groundwork out from them being an intimidating villain. In this case, it didn't, because it gave you more of an insight into why he's prepared to do what it is he's going to do. I'll make the comparison anyway. It's not on this same level, so I'm not comparing the quality of them as villains, but it's a little bit how humanizing Thanos made him a better villain. That is also the case here with Hordak. The little bit of humanization we get with him makes him a more compelling villain than he otherwise was, and he was working just fine prior to that. So that was cool. I'm just jumping around now. I did see coming what was going to end up being the final resolution for the portal with Angela. Saw that coming by, I don't know, about 5 minutes or so. It still worked. It was still not. I feel like she needed a bit more screen time this season if they were going to pull that. Yet at the same time, I don't know where they could have put that in, given the pace of the story that this season's telling. But it still worked. I just feel like if we could have gotten a little more time with her, it might have worked a touch better. But it's still solid by all means, and the action is fun. Adora's good. I'm feeling her pain a lot too this season, and her frustration at trying to figure out what's going on and realizing she's from the other side of this portal but doesn't know what that means, if it means anything, if she's ever going to get to find out. Finally got to see Madame Raz again. Haven't seen her since the first season. I was wondering when she was going to turn back up. And that was a fun bit. Learned a little bit about Mara, finally. They've been teasing that for a while now. Tiny detail that I really loved. So Huntara's sort of little henchman that Catra takes over. One of them is this lizard looking character that is just short, squat, muscular, has 4 arms, and has no discernible like sexual characteristics. But everybody immediately refers to this character as she. They all immediately identify her as a female, and nobody ever like even hints that they have a hard time telling. I don't know why. I really kind of love that this is a character with zero, sexual identifiable features, at least to a human's eyes. But everybody just looks at this lizard and go, "Oh yeah, that's a girl. We know that." And like, cool. I just kind of like that. And this show just makes me happy. I mean, that's what the show is. This show is right now is my animated happy place. I can go to this show and I can rewatch this show and it just makes me feel nice. I love the characters. I love the story progression. I love the look, the design. I love the humor. I love the emotional impact when it decides to go for that. I love the heck out of this show. How long am I going to have to wait for more of it? However long, it is too long. She-Ra, Season 3. You seen it? What'd you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. A bunch of stuff to do besides. I got a Patreon if you want to help me cover my bills. I've also got other things down there, links to a podcast and a book, and my P.O. box is down there. All sorts of things. Click on them. They'll take you places. You also don't have to. Because at the end of the day, folks, you're the council. I'm just running the meetings, and until next time, this council is adjourned.